Torn. Yes, welcome back to Badvertising, and that's right, today we are checking out Torn, a game I keep seeing ads for, and yet I still have no real clue what it's about. And that was in fact the best possible intro I could come up with this video as a result. So, without further ado, because there's no point going over it, let's check out the ads for Torn. Here we are, an advert for Torn, and already it's getting pretty intense, because we're doing Russian roulette. Oh, there's a close one, the cat said. Oh my goodness. We've got feet even going on. Oh, and look at that. We lost our foot, I guess, and now we need denim shoes.
Are you crazy?
What the fuck was going on with that? So we played Russian roulette to get $10, and then we got shot in the foot as a result, and instead needed to buy shoes for $600,000, which is a lot more than the 10 we originally put in. Seems like kind of a bad financial decision, but I guess that's Torn. Up next we have this guy, who's telling us a bit about Torn.
The economy was still evolving.
We've got an economy, we've got gangs, and hustling and crime, I guess.
Every time I jump back in, it feels like a new chapter in my story.
I don't quite get it. It sounds like a sort of long-term RPG thing where you commit crime a lot. Is sort of what I'm getting for it. There's gangs and such, and robberies and shooting feet. I still can't quite tell, but this guy's pretty passionate about it. And, you know, where there's passion, there's Torn.
So you decided to browse the
What's here? We've got a market, and what are we finding?
Dog poop for $1,350
Dog
only?
shit. Unfortunately, we could not afford the dog poop, but this man is gonna tell us of the tactics. He's pickpocketing individuals, including a policeman, which obviously isn't going to go well, right? Making money by pickpocketing seems to be the name of the game in this situation. I'm not sure why they're so invested in pickpocketing their way to earning over $1 million for a bag of dog poop. Seems like there'd be far more economically viable ways to get dog poop that don't involve quite so much crime. You could just find a dog. But I guess why go to the effort of finding a dog when you could just pickpocket such individuals as young woman, police officer, and rich kid? Pickpocketing children to get some dog poop. That's Torn.
Torn is not a game. Torn is life. Also reaching level
That's an intense start.
And it's a text-based online.
Ah, there we go. Text-based online RPG. Okay, good. We've got all kinds of players out there playing Torn. You can join legions of people who are in jail on account of being suspected of presidential assassinations. It's a lot of suspects, but if Trump is the current president, kind of get it. Just seems like you can do whatever your heart desires. And as he says so accurately in the advert,
Torn is life.
That's Torn.
Some people work
Finally, we have this man
same, but it's not what you'd expect. I told my
could
family
work
I
2
worked
jobs,
at Mark,
but
really,
instead,
I just needed a
Hugh
flexible job
Janus
so I could
is
grind
grinding on
day.
Torn.
I'm technically set. Do I attend every meeting? Yes. Am I also organizing a Torn deal in another tab? Absolutely.
My goodness,
Spreadsheet.
this man has
Nobody
just
knows
a
I've
whole
got 3
second
projects
life
going
on Torn. He is a
solid
Torn master.
All I needed was the freedom to finally be the crime lord I was born to be.
Whoa, that goes hard. Fair fucks to that man. He is fully on board the Torn train. As he puts so eloquently here in this close-up, those eyes are Torn and nothing else. There's no thoughts beyond Torn. Be the crime lord you were born to be. That's motherfucking Torn right there. Now usually I play the game at this point and just provide my reaction to it in the moment as I play, but I feel like Torn's not that kind of game. Every ad there pretty much talked about playing it long term, you know, making a commitment to being Torn. So I shall follow the advice. I shall play this game for the next week, and I will record my sessions and, yeah, update you on just how many crimes I'm committing, and hopefully I won't just spend the entire time in jail for shooting my foot off in a roulette game straight away. But it seems kinda likely. So into the world of crime I headed. Naturally, to be a feared, toughened criminal, you need a fearful and tough name. So I went straight to the scariest name I could possibly think of, Lyle Spencer. Can't think of a scarier name than that. Starting out, I meet George, the resident city hobo, who gives me some tutorial tasks throughout the first couple of days to help me get to know my new home. Which, as it turns out, is this piece of shit shack let's just say it's a bit of a doer-upper. I discover the gym where I can level up my character to be an ultimate fighting machine, as well as the job listing site, because apparently every criminal needs a day job. To keep things relevant, I go for a job in the most crime-coded legal establishment there is. A casino. After some questionably simple interview questions, I get the position of dealer. I also get ordered by George, the homeless unemployed man, to better myself with an education course. Combat training sounds the most useful for obvious fighting related reasons, so that's the one I pick. Any good course requires study materials, so I head straight into town and pick up a Glock for my homework. The absolute highlight of the day came when I hit up the dump and went diving like Charlie and Frank in that one episode of Always Sunny. Only I didn't find a scimitar like they did, but instead got a pair of sweet Bermudas. Before this, I was barely a petty criminal. But now, I'm barely a petty criminal who looks sick as hell. George, being the crazed, drug-addled man that he is, asked me to go and attack a test dummy. Obviously, this is just the game's way of teaching you combat, but I like to think he really did have beef with what is effectively a shop mannequin. I quickly put test dummy number 1 down, meaning George can rest easy in his cardboard box at night once again. Finally, I get my first taste of criminal life by dabbling in a spot of pickpocketing. It starts well when I get some nice new reading glasses, which can only help with my combat training study books, then quickly goes downhill when I am arrested while trying to job an innocent young woman. Luckily, a guardian angel in the form of Frank fucking Zappa comes to my rescue and immediately busts me out of prison. To this day, I'm not entirely certain if this is a real Good Samaritan also playing Torn, or if it's just some scripted bot helping new players learn that their crimes do have consequences. Spoiler alert, this is something I never truly learn. Either way, I thank Zappa for his services and proceed to celebrate my earnings by firing on my new glasses, making my character infinitely cooler and ending my first day in Torn City. Day 2 comes around and the mood in the city has gotten a lot darker. This may or may not be due to the fact I accidentally switched the game to night mode and wasn't sure how to turn it back. I'll let you be the judge of that. Regardless, I decide to start the day by heading into my place of work. Not to earn a wage, but spend it recklessly through the power of gambling. It goes well and I earn 200 smackaroos, which makes me feel good inside and like I should gamble more regularly with higher amounts. Staving off this newfound addiction for now, I turn to my other favourite pastime, robbery. This time I try out shoplifting and find out I'm not very good at it again, and then actually okay as I come away with an axe. Still doesn't hold a candle to my skills at dumpster diving though. That gets me a PC, a sapphire ring, and a billfold this time. The billfold contained a driver's license and a credit card in it, the latter of which I never figure out what to do with and will likely fester in my inventory forever. George is still doing his tutorializing during all this and teaches me the art of finding cash down the back of seats in a subway station. I'm starting to think there's a reason this guy's still homeless. I do get some weed, beer and spray paint though, along with a few lumps of cash to take me over the $4,000 mark. This isn't enough for old Lyle Spencer though, so I go back to pickpocketing since I had more success with this last time. This success doesn't last long when I am once again arrested, this time while molesting a businessman's inner thigh. Whoops. Fortunately, my success with being busted out of jail does stay with me, as I'm once again saved by a kind Torn player / AI robot, allowing me to get straight back to pickpocketing. Lo and behold, I've learned from my mistakes and managed to nab a sensational $3,306. Why this drunk man is carrying around quite so much cash, I have no idea, but I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, especially when that mouth is stupid and loaded with booze. Worth noting at this point that you can only do crime for as long as you have nerve, which comes back over time much like energy. Since I don't got a lot of nerve yet, this isn't as much crime as I can commit for now. I smoke the weed from earlier and promptly level up. A fitting allegory for real life, I'd say. I also drink the beer, which adds a tiny bit of nerve thanks to the power of alcohol, before George has me bootleg a load of action DVDs, which is by far the most boring crime I can possibly imagine. He then has me attack a man named Bay 8, which is a much more interesting crime despite it being on someone with a name just a little bit too much on the nose. Using my cash from mugging bait, I buy some leather armor for future combat encounters, as well as a shitty trailer for future romantic ones. Meanwhile, the driver's license I found in the dump is bought for 4.5k by K9 from Doctor Who of all people. Guess even robotic space dogs need to change identities every now and then. So at this point I get a very strange proposal from a mysterious man named Zalgiris. He messages me asking to attack him in exchange for $50,000. This is suspicious to me. After a brief and slightly heartbreaking bout of messages, I accept his offer since I really can't afford to turn down that kind of money right now. The attack, as expected, goes very poorly for me, but Zalgiris kept true to his word and did indeed send me $50,000. Now look, obviously this is torn money and means nothing in the real world, but I'd be lying if I said this didn't give me a fleeting moment of joy and achievement. In fact, I got so wrapped up in this joy that I proposed to Zalgiris there and then with the sapphire ring I found in the dump. That's right, I was paid to be slashed into shreds by a rich man with a sword, and then was in such awe of him that I proposed on the spot. Forget Paris. Torn City is the real city of love. On day 3 I hit the gym to keep my bod from getting mushy, then I go straight to the dump where I find a kitten plushie. I also bag myself some newish shampoo, then I dig a little deeper and find a CPU. I buy a sweet bandana at the clothing store, then I buy myself a card. Just a simple 2-door. Turns out I can only really use it to race, but since I don't have a license, it will just stay in place. Next I use casino points, get some tips while I can, then I steal a woman's tampons, think I'm just a sick man. I dump some waste for a florist, and I don't mean to ramble, but it gets me to level 3, so I celebrate with a gamble. I'm now a big shot, but my proposal is still pending, so I sent him the tampons, my usual way to befriending. With no answer I cry and steal a watch to feel good, but since it's worth sweet FA, I'll just wear it round the hood. I have a look at the jail and find this potato guy, and since I need a new friend, I send $2 on the sly. Now I'm browsing the paper, find this ad from a priest. His words speak to me, so I enter the beast. I tell him about my demeanors, all my issues and crimes. I say I want to get better, while still grabbing some dimes. Straight after I go robbing and grab a nice ring. I sell it back to the owner, surely that must sting. I take a look at the city, it'll all soon be mine. Then I upgrade my digs, this apartment will do fine. So thank you for joining on my 3rd day of crime. Thank Christ it's now over, this will be the last time I rhyme. That was something. 4th day and things return to normal, except for the fact my money has shot up massively and I'm suddenly a rich man. Where did this money come from, you might ask? Well, turns out, the $2 I sent to the potato man to help his recovery was absolutely not necessary at all, as apparently he's rich enough to give away $500,000 at the drop of a hat. In his note, he warned me not to gamble it all at once, and of course, I took this advice very seriously, so I only gambled half of it, and came away with an extra $200k as a result. This gambling stuff is pretty easy. Time to put this money to good use, so I head to the estate agents and buy my 3rd property in 3 days, this time upgrading to a lovely beach house. I don't want to leave my apartment to rot, of course, so I decide that that can be my return gift to my new sugar daddy, Jakito. I also hear back from Pastor Jason about wanting to start life anew, but he doesn't exactly provide the solution I was hoping for. I decide I may as well push it a bit further, and at the end of the day, I'm putting myself in enough dangerous situations at this point that it would probably be worth having God on my side. Some more pickpocketing gets me some baggies of speed and $2,000 from a gang member who I accidentally robbed when I had been aiming for a drunk man who seemed a lot less like he'd have potentially murdered me had things gone wrong here. Some divine intervention there. Maybe God is already on my side after all. Before my time in Torn comes to an end, I'm pretty determined to carry out one of the bounties in the newspaper, since there's not been much in the way of fighting so far. My energy wasn't high enough this time following my earlier gym sesh, so I figure I may as well prep for the battle ahead by grabbing the most expensive gun available. I also go full leather daddy with some new gloves and a helmet. Now I'm ready for combat and loving, just whichever comes across first, I suppose. And all of a sudden, Day 5 is upon us, my final day in Torn, for this life at least. Time for the bounty collection I've been so desperate to fulfill ever since I discovered this existed 2 days prior. I find my target, a man named Zbeep. The bounty has been placed due to him mugging some poor soul. Not on my watch, there can only be one mugger in Torn City, and that's me and all the other muggers other than this guy. He's a couple of levels above me, but I've also got the most expensive gun money can buy, so it should even things out, right? It does not even things out, at all. Turns out the combat in this game appears to be entirely based on your gym skills, which also level you up. So even though my gun was good, he'd been hitting the gym even better, and while I would do 7 damage in hit, he would do 93. Obviously, this meant things didn't turn out too well for me, and I promptly became hospitalized for the next 26 minutes. About 28 minutes later, I logged on again, determined to get just one goddamn bounty. Boberto83 was my pick this time. There wasn't even a reason provided for the bounty being placed, but he was the same level as me, and at this point, that was enough. So anyways, I started blasting and shot him in the chest for the win, claiming the 50k bounty. The guilt slowly creeps over him, the fact I've probably left a seemingly innocent man without a working pair of lungs, so I tried one last time to connect with the main man JC at the church. Here, I discovered my proposal to Zalgiris is still outstanding, meaning he hasn't rejected me yet. There's still hope! I celebrate the good news with a dive into my favourite dump, and have a nice full circle moment when I once again discover some sweet new legwear. My Bermudas have been through multiple scraps at this point and are very likely worse for wear anyway, so they're swapped out straight away as I don the shorts to give my gams some breathing space. Since this was the end, I figure why not gamble all the money I've worked not very hard to earn and see if I can round things out with another victory. Of course, this is never how gambling works and I promptly lose almost everything. Remember kids, when the fun stops, stop. Apparently this warning is bullshit though, as I gamble one last time and get 10k back. The gambling fun has started again, Lyle Spencer is happy and rocking his new shorts, and I decide to let him retire to a peaceful life where he'll presumably settle down with Salgiris eventually at the beach house, and they can search the dump together till the end of their days. God bless you, Lyle Spencer, you pickpocketing, speed-taking, bad-at-fighting gambling addict. Forever a fashion icon, and forever a Torn City legend. Well, there we have it. My time in Torn City is over, a week has passed, and I've even got the haircut to prove it. So was Torn like the ads? Well, yeah, it was a text-based RPG, and you could definitely do quite a few different crimes. They're definitely right when they say it's a slow burn kind of game. Like, you know, you do lose energy in there pretty quick, and you can only really do so much in a session. And the whole, like, all your actions have consequences thing is kind of true, but a lot of them are very minimal consequences, like when you tried to pickpocket a man and accidentally molest him. I feel like most of the fun and the consequences in that come from interacting with other players, like, you know, when I got offered 50,000 to beat someone up, got beat up by them, and then proceeded to propose to them. That kind of stuff's more interesting. But yeah, it's fine, it's sort of fun enough to hop into and just see what's going on. So if you want to try it, why not? It's free, it's browser based, you can't really get much easier than that. Just maybe don't go collecting bounties on people with a level twice as high as yours, because as I found out, it doesn't tend to go too well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your feedback on the sort of format of this one, because it was a bit different, where I played it over the course of a week and then, you know, post-commentated on it. And it'd be good to know if it sort of works well in case I feel like other future games could also use that treatment, because it's nice to give them a bit more time every now and then before ruthlessly jumping to the conclusion, but I usually do, that their ads are shit and so's the game. So thank you again, keep on torning on, and I'll see you next time.